Doctor. Oh shit. Yeah. Hello, hello. So, first and foremost, for those that don't know, I am SHC Gay, one of the Colorado coaches here for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and big part of why I wanted all the stuff that I have today, the dual monitors, the camera, the streaming. It's just because I want to make some of the coaching stuff more accessible and kind of go over like some of the basic stuff, some of the intro. And I'd say it's intro, it's more like all encompassing. Does that make sense? It's more like all encompassing. Just because at any point, at any time, this could apply to you, this could be your situation. And this could be like you trying to find basically what to gravitate towards when it comes to competing, especially when it comes to practicing. Because I think the biggest war crime in most of like any competitive esport, anything, is like how do you practice? Most people don't know how to practice on their own. Most people don't know their mindset. Most people don't know how to grind. And the stuff that I'm going to show you kind of like puts it in like it puts it in layers. It puts it in a way where you kind of have a little bit of hills to climb and a few questions that you kind of have to answer for yourself. Just because when it comes to practice, there's no easy answer. And just like working out at the gym or getting better at a lot of different stuff or improving, there's always some type of mundane thing that you got to do or repetitive nature or whatever. So the thing that you need first is you got to have some type of experience in like what you're doing. If you play frequently, if you play often, if you're an avid whatever of the game, like you've been, I don't know, playing for at least 3 months, in my opinion, usually kind of helps out. You resonate with the game. You know what I mean? You build like some type of love, you build some type of passion, and I think that's probably number one. That's the most important thing. If you don't have any type of connection to like what you're doing, then it's hard to get better at it. And if you don't give time for the connection to actually mend into something important, then what you're going to do is you're going to force yourself into something thinking that you love it. And then you'll start to realize you hate it. And the more you realize you hate it, you build emotional barriers and resentment towards like whatever it is that you're trying to do. You suffer from burnout, or you just try to find ways to basically downplay whatever it is that you're doing. Like, oh, it's not important. It's just a video game. Blah, 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 blah. Yappity, yappity, yap. But no, that's important just because I think the biggest thing you have to figure out before you even go into any type of like, where do I go from here mindset is how much you love whatever it is that you're doing. Hey, respect that. Respect that. I mean, even in your case, Arachnid, I think that you always have like a want to come back to play, but everyone's got that point in time where they feel like meh about it, or they feel like it's mundane, or you're not, how do I say it? You're not actively interacting with whatever it is you got. You know what I mean? Like, what was that? I'm easily distracted. But like, I don't know. Like, for me, it's not necessarily about if you're still playing. It's more about like where your mindset is when you're playing, because that's a huge thing. And like where your drive is where you're playing. There's a difference between being present and then just being there, like existing in the moment. And some people don't realize that. But yeah, so the first thing you got to do is you got to have a passion. Now that you have a passion, you kind of need a focus, you need a goal. And typically if you've been playing for like 3 months, oh yeah, man, thanks, GG's. Kind of enjoying the whole Zelda thing. I kind of like that you're going for a different angle. I'm not sure if you'll ever go back to Link. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. You kind of, it seems like you're going through a little bit of a search for yourself. And I think you said something about playing like Link, Zelda, and Joker. So who knows? And maybe this will help you. Actually, this might be the stream for you. This might be where Arachnid pops off and the phobia grows. Anyway, so after you kind of get the 3 months in and you get an idea of what you're doing, like how the game operates and how it plays, and yeah, Link is your guy. It just takes a while to get the Zelda going. But like once you get a feel for how the game operates, how it plays, how it works, then you kind of have to consider like what it is you're trying to do. And usually most people are like, oh, I'm trying to win the weekly. I'm trying to be number one at this. I'm trying to get on the PR. That's like, and that's a good baseline goal. And then after you set the baseline goal, the first thing I think that needs to happen is you either need to succeed or you need to fail. And typically failure is the first thing that happens. So that's the most important step. And the reason why is because if you fail at it, then you have to go through like the first barrier of like whatever. And usually most people think, well, just play against other people and I'll grind or I'll find Smash, whatever. Or I'll do money matches against the people on the PR or whatever. Yeah, like right now you're at that point where you're trying to learn and improve mainly, right? And that's a goal. That's a way to go about it. And for me, when I hit that point, the easiest way to improve is if I used to lose to someone in bracket, and let's say it was close, not like a top player where they like diminish you, but like you played against someone, I don't know, somewhere in losers, you lose and it's close. The first thing I always think to do is to try to find a way to play that person as much as I can immediately and show as much respect to that person as I can. Because if I can mend a relationship with them, I can kind of understand why I lost. That's just like the basic stuff, right? You get past that, and I mean, I should probably make sure I highlight that more. You get to know them, you get to play their play style, you get to kind of understand their character, and usually that's not too much of an obstacle to get past. So that's like your first check and balance. You get that down, you're heading towards your goal, like what you said. You're trying to be top 3 at ESA, right? And then you start to get gate kept. And let's say, like, for you, Arachnid, your gatekeeper is Kamikaze. We'll use that as an example. Your gatekeeper is Kamikaze, and you need to figure out how to get past Kamikaze. Absorb their skills and become unstoppable. The first thing you have to do is you have to make sure that when you make a question about getting past that person, you're very specific. And the only reason why I can speak on that is because I speak from experience. Let me see. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's move this. You got to speak from experience. I mean, I speak from experience when I say this, like when I make a realistic question. So there's a point in Smash 4 where I'd say, well, no, I wouldn't say like I would say. I would agree and 100% no. That was like on the PR or whatever. And I think I was talking to JFK, and we hit this point where like the tournaments were becoming a little bit easier. And he said, I kind of wish I could start over from the beginning and like have that point where, you have to climb back up to the top or whatever. And, you had to prove yourself, blah, 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 blah. What a great statement to make, because that statement leads us to this point of our lives. We got good. I hit a point where I quit because I had some type of personal whatever, more spiritual ordeals, and I didn't want to play anymore, play competitively. And in the midst of me being gone, Shu and Bang started making a lot bigger of a climb. Look at Shu drinking unhealthy on screen. Anyways, they started making a lot bigger of a climb, and the reason why this was important is just because everyone has their demons, and I'm pretty sure I have my bracket demons. But at this point in time, playing against Shu went a lot like this. Not gonna watch the whole thing, just kind of skim through it.
And it's like, ooh, nice job, Shu. And he's
this is more of a video where I feel like things were a little bit closer and not so bad.
But Gay is not a stranger.
Let me turn that down. That's kind of loud.
How the way Shu plays. So let's see if Shu can mix things up a little bit.
That's okay, baby Sonic. That's okay, baby Gay. Get out of there.
Oh, but he's live.
Baby Gay, please. Baby Gay, please. The good thing is I'm at a kill percent.
Yeah, it's not.
The bad thing is I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's see if I fast forward a little bit.
But I mean, a back air.
I hate when that happens.
Okay,
Nice
nice.
spring by
I am actually kind of doing good in
He's
this
gonna
game.
run.
Oh,
That'll do it.
so we lose. He's at 54%. Jeepers creepers.
CSS is pretty.
She, I
laggy.
guess now.
Yeah,
Like,
she has a
definitely.
lot- I mean, when it comes to her air,
The double air dodge. I hate this game.
That was down.
Keep skipping
Yeah,
through.
that
Keep
was
skipping
down.
through.
Gay has a really good comeback factor. That's one.
Oh,
thing.
but that's not gonna. Come
That
back.
comeback factor
Yeah,
did
you
not
don't
kick
want air
in.
dodge on the
Chaotic,
I
thanks for
wanna
the
say that he
compliment,
went
but
for
man,
tech, but either way, I think that was curtains.
this stressed face, do not let that fool you. Nah, I wouldn't say never again. Smash 4 is kind of fun. Do not let that fool you, because as time goes by, I kind of gain some type of resolve. Does it show the score?
So
Probably
far, like,
here.
there's so much depth
Yeah.
there.
Oh, I got one. Is this a 3 out of 5? Let's find out.
Yeah.
Let's find out. Let's find out. These videos are really hard to find.
See, against
I'm behind again. It's
Yes.
2-1.
It's like you
Look at
and
me
Spring
thinking. Look at me thinking. You see how Shu kind of smirked? Go back. Hold up. You see that? Yeah, nah. Shu knows.
Uppy.
Shu knows. Look at Shu trying to fake it. Per usual.
Especially with
Against Sonic?
CSS. Yes.
You get here, you're playing, you're trying to play the neutral as much as possible. You can tell I'm kind of taking it slow because I don't want to lose this or whatever.
Both C. I don't
She was so good on these platforms though, which is why I say don't go there.
And I'm really trying to get away, really trying to get away, really trying to get away. Doing good on this stock. I lose the stock, we come back. Going after Shu, blah, 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 blah. Keep skipping, keep skipping. I'm at 4% for a hot minute. Good job. I'm at 8%. I'm at 14%. We're at 19. We're almost dead. Wait.
Oh, that'll do it.
Tight. So, time and time again. Let's see Sad Gay.
And he dropped it.
Yeah, you can kind of see it in my face. Let me go back a little bit.
Oh, that'll do it.
Dang.
You can see it in that camera especially. I almost spiked my controller this day. And time again, I would lose to Shu profusively. Like, it wasn't just a loss. It was a lost cause. It was a lost cause. I would get destroyed by Shu adamantly. And I would get destroyed by Bang adamantly. Bang was a little bit different because with Bang, at least the match felt somewhat competitive for a little bit. With Shu, I think some of our sets got to the point where they were lasting like 5 minutes. It was not good. So I come back into the competitive scene. You know, you want to win normally, or you want to get on the PR or whatever. But every time I seem to come across Shu or Bang, it goes from like competition, like it's supposed to be a competition, to just kind of getting mopped. And that's important just because originally the whole point was like, I'm supposed to be making these waves and kind of coming back and experiencing what it's like to be new. And well, every day of my life, that's my face. And I got tired of it. So my question started to become, how do I get to the point where I can finally beat Shu and Bang? Like, how do I get to their level? How do I get to their understanding? Because I don't think I'm there. And I don't think this was like a part of the practice thing. I think this is actually what kicked it off. So the first thing I thought to do was to dig into the past. I dug into the past, and I thought about things that made me great then. And I decided to make this gigantic document. Let me see if I can pull it out. Well, not gigantic document, but it's called Gay History. And Gay History basically just was me going over every set that I can think of And I mean, at the time, like our YouTube channel for Colorado Smash basically had everything. There were some sets that were hidden that weren't that really like all that important. And I watched every single set. And what I did is I categorized it in months, and I just made notes to look for consistency. Because in my head, if I was going to compete with, I guess I can put that on the screen, huh? Let's do that. 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 If I was going to compete with Shu in any way, shape, or form, or Bang for that matter, I had to go back and I had to like look at like what I was doing right in the past and kind of find that beast from back then. It's not that long. It's like a 12-page document, and it just goes over like different months, like May 2015. What was this? June? It's probably in 2015, July 2015, and I just talk about highlights or whatever. There he is. There he is. The cam is hot. But yeah, I haven't really seen you in my stream since I got the cam. The cam is hot. I'm in the loft. The monkey's here. But so yeah, I lose the Shu and Bang, and the first thing I thought to do is I had to go back and kind of remember who I was and see if like I was missing anything from the past that I'm not doing in the present. And I had all these notes or whatever, and I basically just went through all the different months and made categorized things to say like the pros of this month. Like, let's see, singles pros, clear increase in knowledge of matchups, great follow-up game, attempt to somewhat guard the ledge, usually has a strong lead, less rolls, negative, spin dashes from one side of the stage to the other, to telegraph, not safe, nerves if behind, do not take advantage of a lead, tend to throw out a lot of smash attacks, and then movement. I did this just because I wanted to see where consistency lied in what I was good at and what I was bad at. And I needed to kind of give myself a script of like, who are you as the player based off of the information given, not like what you think you are. Because at this point, I'm kind of thinking I'm dog shit. Because like, you're losing to the same two people, but not in a way that's like everybody else. Like, I lose to JFK or whatever, and that's kind of 60-40. And some of that is redundant, but it's like I can make it close. I can make it a competition. Either of us could really take it, depending on the day. But if I'm playing Shu or Bang, it was realistically like you're going to get washed, and it's going to be bad. And you're going to be sad. That Bang guy was sick. I don't know about now. But yeah, I hate when you can't play on stream. I cherish the moments we can play on stream, and even then they don't really upload anything to YouTube. So if you don't go through and watch the VOD from stream and make notes and then try to keep like some type of mental capture, then it's kind of over. We'll see, man. I'm in my first month of training, which I'm going to start going over. I'm kind of excited to play you in bracket, honestly, Bang, because playing friendlies or whatever, that was whatever, and that was before I started practicing, and it was not good. I was getting washed. But I stole some of the stuff that you did because it kind of took me back to the past. Anyways, so the first thing I had to do, yeah, I am going to that. It's breaking kind of like what I'm doing for my little regiment thing, but I need to go to that. All right, that's what you think. That's what you think. I'm glad you got confidence. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to go over the whole thing. So the first thing I had to do is I had to figure out how I was going to get in these kids' heads and how I was going to not like suffer. And the biggest thing I had to think is how do I play them as frequently as possible? Like how do I get into the inner circle? So one thing I had to do is I had to develop consistency in bracket, because if I can't meet them in bracket enough, then there's no way I'm going to be able to play these people. You can keep going for the money match like route, but you're already kind of giving them money for bracket or whatever. So that doesn't really help. You know what I mean? You're just giving them a direct deposit, and then on top of that, you're making another transaction from entering bracket. It's okay to do a money match, but you need to walk away with something if you're going to do the money match. So in my head, it's more about getting the attention of the player because you start to run into them in bracket, and it becomes a often occurring thing. So the first thing you got to do is you got to do well in bracket. And one thing I know about myself is if I don't enter brackets often, I end up being the king of ninth. And that's kind of what happened. Is like if I ran into him, it'd be like almost winners quarters and I get deleted. And then I got to do the ugly climb through losers and I wouldn't see them again because I lost to A, B, C, X, Y, Z, right? So the first thing I had to do is get better at bracket, because if I could do that, then I can get to the player. The second thing I had to do is I had to figure out if I was going to be consistent in bracket, what that means. And I had to answer like really, really basic questions about the game. And the number one question I had to answer about Smash is, what is the game about and how can you say it in the simplest way possible? Because if I have to go on a 5-hour tangent about what Smash is about, that means I truly don't understand what the game is about. I just am a fanboy. Intelligence comes from being able to say something complex, like in a simplistic way. So if you're not really intelligent about the game, if you have to go on long tangents to explain what the game is. So the best way to explain what Smash is, it's a game of survival, and the goal is to stay on the stage longer than the other person, and that's it. That's all Smash is. I had to define that, and that's the definition I came down to. And if you think about it, it's like painfully true, because the longer you stay on the stage, the more likely you are to win. If you're not on the stage and you have no stocks, then you've lost, and that's it. So it's really just like, how do you stay on the stage? And then once I figured out that was the answer to the question, I had to figure out what's important to stay on the stage. The answer to that's kind of complex, but it's kind of simple. So when you're playing or doing anything in this world, you got two sides to you. You got a side of your mind that's super intellectual, deep thinking, and has to correct any mistakes or any wrongdoings or bless you for anything that you do right. It's a very active part of your brain. And then you got the dummy goo goo gaga, but it's your instinctual beast. It's your I don't know, it's your Super Saiyan. It's the big instinct thing inside of you that like actually drives who you are as a player. Yeah, it's monkey brain. So when you're trying to learn something, the best thing to do is to go through laps of instincts. And I'll show you what that means on this screen by playing the game. So the first thing you have to do is you have to go through a lot of laps of instincts. Because if you don't sharpen your instincts towards what you're trying to learn, then it becomes a lot harder to figure it out. It's kind of the fire, Bang. It's kind of the fire. I'll kind of go over it a little more in a second. Let's see. Tight. I hate when I get these following icons because the more I switch over layouts, it's just like it's going to keep showing me the same follow. Tight. I wonder what my... Oh, really? I wonder. That's funny. I have to update. No, I can just start the software. It's really not that deep, is it? It better not be that deep. It's playing through my TV. Let me fix that too. Anytime I play with my son, I gotta turn on the volume. Tight. Said it's frozen on the stream. Tight. Epic. That's weird. Let me see. There's always technical stuff going on. You gotta love it. I think I figured out what it is, though. Let's see if it's active. Yeah, the streamer life is great sometimes. Tight. So there's two different sides to you. Like I said, you said loud. Let me turn that shit down. Hold on. Where do you go? Oh. Oh yeah. Actually, I was... Yeah. Let's put this at like a total of 20. Hell yeah. Is that better? I think that's a lot better. it's crazy how loud it can just like boom through your shit when you go back or whatever. Anyway, so there's two sides to your brain. There's gonna be the calculated side. Yeah, I figured. And then there's gonna be like the goo goo gaga side. To figure out how both sides work, I had to really think about, like, I don't know, just my past. I used to play like games competitively, like Gears 2, and when I ran clans, a lot of it was just figuring out the most effective ways to practice, and trying to figure out the most effective ways to practice is hard, because when you're competing for something like a game, there's no such thing as like a practice regimen, you know what I mean? Like when you're playing a sport, if you think about it, like if you play a basketball or something, or football, there's reps that you have to do, there's things that you do to build coordination, build understanding, you know, rather it's running plays, rather it's going over footage, rather it's drills, because all those things kind of equip you to, you know, have like certain repetitive things like muscle memory or a graver understanding, better control of something. But in a video game, I mean, there's like a training mode where you can go and like press buttons or whatever, but that's it. So one thing that I did is I had to like draw a basis for like where the intellect was going to kick in and where the goo goo gaga is going to kick in. The goo goo gaga kind of kicks in from just like how you feel about the game and your feeling, your intake of things. Whereas like the mental is like building patterns and building things that like fit with like your ideals. So one thing I did to fit my ideals is I started sectioning off the stage. So the center, like let's say we're going FD, which is where we're at. The center of the stage is like 1, right? See, like section 1. And then if you go from like here to like this ring, this is like section 2. And the end of the stage is section 3, where basically you're on the ledge. The reason why I say that is like the more you think of it in sections, the more you start to think like I need to do certain moves in certain sections. And the only reason why that's important is because you start to recognize like the pattern of what to do intellectually with where you're standing or where the opponent is standing. And then you start to use your goo goo gaga or your instincts to know the when and the where. So that was the first thing I did, is like I sat there and I broke down the stage in sections. Like on the ledge, you gotta find ways to get out of this corner, because if you're in the corner, you don't really have all the buttons in the world to press, just because there's no real space to go. Whereas like if you're in section 1 or section 2, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever the hell you want. And the important thing about section 1 and section 2 is that it's the majority of the stage, whereas section 3 is just the corner. And if you're in the corner, which is section 3, you don't have that much control because you're cornered off. And I mean, you can see like in comparison to DK, I got the entire fucking stage. So there's got to be something I can do to make sure that like this whole entire center stage is mine. And the best thing to do is to have the mentality that, number one, the goal is to stay in the center of the stage, because that's the whole goal of the game, right? Is to control the stage. So I need to figure out how I'm going to control the stage. Now, like with the character with Sonic, it's not super obvious. I mean, it's super obvious, but it's not. And the reason why I say that is because with Sonic, like, I can just run basically from one side of the stage to another in seconds, or I can do the move that everyone loves, spin dash. And so, like, that just kind of gives you the idea that I can basically cover the center of the stage from anywhere. But that's somewhat true and somewhat not true. The reason why I say that is like, come on, DK. Say DK is here and I'm here. Some of my options I probably shouldn't choose as frequently as some of the, as like, you know, if he was, I don't know, say here to here, or if he was all the way on the ledge. It all really depends on where he's at, and that's what I should do. The beauty of Sonic is if someone comes on the ledge or whatever and they're chasing me, I have enough speed to basically flip the scenario around with just barely any movement. Or I have enough speed and like weird mix-up strategies that I can do whatever in their face, and they kind of have to play a guessing game the entire time. Especially Bang's favorite move, which is homing attack. Or, you know, do stuff like I can do up B. Oops, I fucked that up. Let's try that again. We're DK. Do stuff like that. Yeah, homing attack is great. But yeah, so it's really just dependent on like where the person is. So people being in section 1, makes it so they have a lot more chances to kind of guess and predict and how to keep someone in the corner. And people in Section 3, they don't have all the power, but they do have a way to flip things around. So my whole thing is like, if I'm in Section 3, I gotta learn how to play with as little space as possible. And a lot of the time, people think it's about like doing the egregious button, like, you know, a dash attack or going for a smash attack, or, you know, like as soon as they do neutral, get up rolling or something like that. But I think the beauty of Section 3 is knowing that if you're in the corner, you just have to accept the fact that you're there and slowly make your way up. The less buttons you press while you're in the corner, the more power you have, because the most important button on the controller is no button at all. So if you're not really pressing much of anything, the person can't interpret what you're going to do, and it gives you enough time to react. And then if you do basic stuff like you do a jump or you just press shield, a lot of people react based off of the image that you're putting off. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, if you think that that like one option is always going to be the complete solution to everything, then that's the absolute wrong way to think of Smash. There's always several answers to one question. So keeping it simple on the ledge and telling yourself to keep it simple is kind of the key. It's not necessarily to tell yourself like it's not necessarily to say that like you absolutely have to do nothing, but if your main autopilot is to kind of reduce your movement or just to tell yourself to jump in place, which I see Bang do a lot, and I see a lot of people fall for it because it's almost like he's red and they're the bull and they're just trying to hit him, and even if he's doing nothing, they still feel the need to do something about it. So if you're standing in the corner and you're playing in Section 3 and you choose to do a lot more of nothing, then that's great. If you're standing in Section 2 and someone's in Section 3 and you play with subtle movement, you're still doing something, but you're not really pressing anything. There's no commitment. You're kind of dashing in and out of their range just to see if they're going to make a move, and then sometimes you make the move for them. Yeah, and I think it's great advice. And then if you're in the middle, you just kind of want to throw Hail Marys, like, fuck it, throw a forward smash. Because in the middle, I mean, someone still has to fight you to get you away from the middle, right? So that was like my thought process immediately, is like, how do you create something in sections? Everyone's answer is a little bit different. But that's one question you kind of have to answer for yourself, is like, when you're in certain areas of the stage, what do you want? And then even then with your character, what section of the stage works best for you? Are you like a 2-person? Are you a 1-person? Are you a 3-person? You know, and that's kind of based off the character. It's kind of based off of preference. It's kind of based off a little bit of both. I think Sonic is a legend. He can do a little bit of everything. But like certain characters like Pokemon Trainer is more of like a 2 character. You don't want to be on the ledge too much because Pokemon Trainer doesn't have a lot of fast ways to get to the center. But you don't want to be exactly in the center because a lot of your kills start from initiating something from Section 2. So trapping people in the corner and just always being able to basically dash back and forth like this is kind of like your ideal spot. Or if you're like Samus, you find yourself more in 2 or 3 section because you have the charge shot. And if you're in 3 section and you're pressing someone, you got bombs. So it's like learning how to basically take control of 3. Anyways, everyone's got their own thing. The beauty of Sonic is he kind of helps you learn a little bit of everything because he can play a little bit of everything. But the first thing I do for practice is I set a 5-minute timer. And I just let my brain go in Unga Bunga mode. We're just pressing buttons, we're moving around. Nothing big, nothing committal. You can do it on any stage. I usually do it Battlefield or FD. And then, yeah, you just want to move around. Get as loose as you can, beat up this unsuspecting bot. You know, fuck his shit up. But what's important about this timer, let's say someone calls your name, right? Let's say for the sake of argument, Arachnid, your girlfriend's got a question for you. Do you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich right now before dinner? Might spoil you, might not. You gotta stop and answer a question. You want to pause the timer. The only reason why you want to pause the timer is because you're making sure that you know that the time that you're setting is yours and yours alone. You're not running off the timer of the clock on the wall. You're running off the timer that you set for yourself. At any time that you're being inattentive means that you're wasting your own time. So you have to pause the time to show that you're showing like preservance to your own time. So anytime you stop to do something, just stop the timer. And anytime you go back to doing what you're doing, then resume the timer. That's also good for showing when your attention span drops. Like anytime I'm doing movement or something like this, if I'm not thinking about what I'm doing, or if I'm not in the moment, like I'm pressing buttons right now or whatever, if I'm not in this moment and I start thinking about some shit I did last week, I'll pause the timer and I'll kind of pay attention to like how long it took me to start drifting off. Because as important as it is to like be physically good at the game, being mentally competitive and mentally there is probably your biggest ally. If you're not mentally there, then you really don't have any business winning. Like, there's that, or you got the strongest autopilot and the strongest Unga Bunga known to man. Because some people, you know, they can definitely go caveman status for long periods of time and it just works. I haven't met many a player like that who just kind of mashes buttons. As much as I want to say kind of mashes buttons, it's not really mashing so much as it's like they have their autopilot set. They know in this section they want to do this move. They know in this section they want to do this move. And because they have their sections down, they just kind of go to section, do move. And it's so subconsciously driven that they don't even realize they're doing it. Anyways, so you're kind of going Unga Bunga and you're pressing different buttons. You're not trying to do anything that's like super routine, and the reason why is this is kind of where discovery happens. I try to warm up every time I go to practice just by doing this, because again, this is where discovery happens. And once the 5 minutes is up, I'll kind of show you one of my discoveries and kind of show you how the goals carry on throughout the week or whatever, and throughout like how you practice. But yeah, just have fun, you know, do stupid shit, go for the crazy, and then maybe kind of see where your focus drives. Like anytime I do this, I have this whole obsession of like making sure the character I'm fighting does not have a good time recovering. And if it's not like having a good time recovering, it's just making sure like I'm really good at like catching them on the ledge with some type of 2-frame whatever. Like not off stage, but like, you know, how they do neutral get up. Just being good at like grabbing them. Really proficient at grabbing them or throwing a tilt. Like that wasn't proficient. You could have shielded that. That's okay. But I'm not trying to think too hard about perfection. I'm just thinking about having a gay old time. Both literally, figuratively, whatever you want to say. But again, a big thing about this too is it kind of makes you feel like you're one with your character. You know, Sonic's out here fucking around showing Nintendo why he's so quick. He's a goofy, quirky boy. And you know that. And you start to understand that more the more you start to move. All this stuff is important because it kind of gets you in the flow. And when they're like fighting someone, the shit's getting real, some of this flow starts to come out. And your objective should really be to turn any opponent that you play into a training dummy. If you can beat the living daylights out of someone like they're a training dummy and just move on them like they're a training dummy, you're at full expression. Like, this is the full arachnid experience. This is the full gay experience right now. Just me going nuts and you not really being able to do much about it. And constantly telling yourself that is important. I do not eat chili dogs before bracket. Dude, there's like no place that sells them though. It's not even like because I don't want to. It's just because no one sells them. Yeah, we're at 43 seconds of just kind of going crazy, kind of going nuts. Almost there, though. And the more you do it, the more you start to realize how fluid you are in the situation. And this is, I don't know, to me this is probably the most important thing I do in terms of practicing. It's always come in clutch for me when like it's an intense set, especially if it's against someone that's hard. It always makes me look like a badass if I'm playing someone that's not that great. Getting stuck in the web. If you do like the Spider-Man web thing too, oh man, what a cringy day. Maybe make like a little hiss sound to really like show him you're spraying the venom. Alright, so the timer goes off, you're done, you beat the living shit out of DK. He's kind of over it. We're done there. Next thing you want to do is move around. And the only reason why I think moving around is important is when I used to play against JFK a lot, and I think a lot of people in Colorado Smash can attest to this, the biggest thing about JFK that is the most impressive is his movement. His self-expression and how he guides Yoshi is ridiculous. And when he's on fire, watching him move around is like being high on some type of drug. You don't understand it. You just know that like his Yoshi is going fucking nuts, and you're just glad to be a part of the experience. This man has like gotten people to create art pieces for him just for the simple fact that they love how much of him is in the situation. So it's got to be the same thing for you, because if you don't have solid movement and you don't like have full control of your character, then what's gonna happen is like let's say you're fighting against somebody and you hit them with something and you think it's supposed to connect or whatever, and it doesn't connect, then you just end up doing this number where you stand still and then you're getting slapped around. There's that, and when the nerves start to get to you, you can't start freezing and standing still. You got to keep active, because if you start freezing and standing still often, and not because like you're doing what Bang was saying, you're not doing it because like sometimes doing nothing is great. You're doing it because you're like scared out of your mind, or like you try to go for your cool thing and they just kind of cancel you out. The more you start to do that, the more you lose full control of yourself and full identity. Movement is a huge part of your identity. Movement is a huge part of the character's identity. You see Sonic, you think fast, you think elusive, you think tricky. So if I'm not doing fast, elusive, tricky, and I'm just like constantly standing there and shield, then there's something wrong. And that means you kind of shut me down. Every once in a while it's okay, but it's just like understanding how to have full control of what your character is doing, no matter what the, oh shit, this stage is weird, no matter what the opponent seems to be doing. And a lot of people I can tell, and you know, that I've played, they really don't have this down like at all. They don't move around enough. They're not expressive enough. But doing this for about 15 minutes a day will make your movement better in like maybe 2 to 3 weeks tops. And I should know. I'm coaching at Colorado College, and I got someone named Infield. Freshman, new to Smash, never has really played Smash ever. Bro, stiffer than cardboard. And when he first started playing, didn't really know what a short hop was. Nothing like that. But now, especially with like different like regiments and stuff like that, primarily just this moving thing, because we do this every day, he is moving like a beast. And it's crazy to see like someone who didn't know what a short hop was just be able to, you know, elusively move around someone who seems a lot more experienced. Like, it's hard to trap him. Stuff to do when you're doing movement, you should probably start with stuff that's a little more imperative to your character. Like up air is probably Sonic's best aerial, just because, oh shit, frame data wise, it's the safest on shield. It's the quickest aerial that you have, so you want to know how to use up air a lot. So going back and forth across the stage and doing short hops, like about 2 to 3 times or whatever with Sonic, is something that I like to do. And then keep in mind the dummy is going to be there, so you have to keep hit stun in mind. And that makes you kind of not go brain dead with the jumps. It makes you think like, you know, when I short hop next, I have to include like hit stun. But doing that first, doing this little doohickey that I'm doing, some people don't realize that this is tech. But jumping from the ledge like that is what this is, right? This is just a normal jump. When I do this, see how I'm like facing the other way? I ran off stage this way, but now I'm facing towards the stage. It helps me turn my jump around. And that's important because, like, let's say I'm hanging on the ledge. I'm now facing backwards. And that's important because I get my back air, or if someone's shielding, I can do homing attack. And if my back is facing towards you, I go inward when I hit your shield. So it's like a new mix-up. That, and, you know, I can do stuff like this. Or, my favorite is doing this. Because if I do that, then you think I'm going to go forward, and then I don't go anywhere. Yeah, and exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like with Squire Link's making Ganon look impossibly fast. But that's part of Squire Link's instinct to move. His natural unga bunga is to kind of press a lot of buttons and get going, which is good. And that's why every day he should kind of have like 5 minutes to himself to just keep doing that, so he remembers what it feels to be synced to his character. But then the movement thing, like what I'm doing, is a little bit different. And even then, you want to try to find stuff that's a little tricky. Like I like doing this. And at first, I didn't think this would ever like equivalent to anything in bracket, but it does. I mean, I've used it before. It stalls people out. But I do stuff like this to like make it hard to find you know, like, oh shit, Sonic tech that's like hard to do. It gets your brain moving, gets you thinking actively about like what it is you're trying to do, and it makes it so like impossible scenarios feel easier. I don't know how many times I've been in a situation and I've had to like rely on some type of tricky movement, and because I practiced it so much, it just kind of bailed me out of a tough situation. Or like what I was saying earlier, your instinct kicks in that you need to move and that you need to feel safe or whatever, right? And if you're doing all this movement stuff every day, you start to kick into that psyche. And when you're playing against somebody, it just kind of happens. Half of it is like a thought, not really, but the majority of it is just a feel. Like you make, you know, observations about what the person is doing, and then you just put movement into action. Bang can attest to this, even though he's on lurk mode. I went to Denver, and I was playing against one of his friends. And his friend was fucking smoking me with Mario. I'm like down to 1 stock. He's on 3 stocks still. I think he's at 130%. But I brought it back with barely getting hit. But it's just because I tapped into that movement psyche. And I just played basically zone 3 the majority of the time. And just made it so like he felt the need to try to kill me. He needed to kill me. He needed to swing. And I just kept it as simple as possible at first. And then like when I feel like he's catching on to simple, I go to something complex. And because I practice the complex stuff, it's there when I need it. But yeah, practice stuff like wave landing. Practice stuff that's unique to your character. Practice stuff that you want to look badass doing. One thing that I like to do is I like to find ways for Sonic to get around a stage. And I usually focus on a stage a week. This week is Hollow Bastion. So, let's see. Alright, that's not it. Yeah, if you fuck up that little spin thing I'm doing over here, it turns into homing attack. I don't know if there's a creative way to get around the stage with that. Oh, kinda. I guess you could do like that. Yeah. And I'm reversing it. I'm so cool. I'm so cool. But yeah, I mean, the more you think about like ways to get your character to move around the stage and how creative you can get out of situations, the better. I'll probably stop doing this because I usually set the timer for 15 minutes. We're on 8, but I don't know. Maybe it's to prove a point. Like, I do this. Ooh. And I don't know. Eventually you hit a point like what I was doing. You start finding shit that's like satisfying. Even like slingshotting. Which is kind of useless with Sonic, especially because like, I'm still a ball. And I mean maybe slingshot up air. But I mean I really don't know what that would do. I guess it gets me out of a situation faster. But I like doing it anyways. Even like if I slingshot with Sonic, I start slingshotting with Mario and Isabelle, and it just kind of translates over. And it's a basic fundamental tech, not a fundamental movement, but a fundamental tech. So yeah, you just keep moving. 15 minutes, doesn't matter what the character is. It could be Piranha Plant, all I care. There's got to be some way for you to make Piranha Plant feel expressive. When I used to play Luigi in Smash 4, I learned how to walk towards people and then crawl backwards because it makes a sliding effect, and it's just weird. It's like cringy to deal with, but it also makes you good at like micro spacing. You kind of understand like the area around you. But the last and most important thing about movement is it makes it so you stop looking at your character so much. Kamikaze was so adamant about telling me Link can beat Sonic without listening. Yeah, I know. He didn't hear the beginning of your statement. He was like, oh yeah, I could beat Sonic with Link. But he's like, he feels like he's the Sonic Slayer. So he just did, like, he thought that you picked Link and then lost. And so he's just trying to tell you like, hey man, as a big homie, that shouldn't be happening. There's a way. There's hope. You don't have to travel this world alone. Oh, and then there's this one too. I like that. Yeah, spicy. Yeah, Sonic. Yeah, quick. Yeah. All right. Anyways, what was I saying? The last thing is that when it comes to doing a lot of movement, you get used to not looking at your character anymore. When you're really doing movement well, you're not looking at your character. And if anything, you don't even really realize how crisp the movement was until you do something cool, like you shake someone up and you hit them for it, or you go back to watch the VODs. Or for me, it's usually like if I develop a crowd and people are like, yo, I'm all fucking moving, then I know like whatever I'm doing, it's working. But you really don't want to pay mind to your character, because when it comes to adapting, you kind of have to know what your game plan is going in and what your character is doing, where your character is at. So it's really about focusing on their character or focusing on the space between you and your character. Yeah, exactly. You should be rarely looking at your character. Very rarely. It makes it so much easier to adapt to what someone's doing if you're paying attention to them, or if you're just paying attention to the space between you and that character. And especially if you're younger, you need that for the reflexes. You know what I mean? You need to be able to react to what somebody's doing, but you can't react to what somebody's doing if you're paying attention too much to your character. Hell yeah. Go Sonic. Love this character. But yeah, you're moving, you're grooving. And we're at 4 minutes, so or 4:50, so we're almost there. But you're moving and grooving, and you're just trying to kind of think to yourself about stuff that's gonna make you excited. Yeah, Sonic can do so much shenanigans, and you don't even realize it until you have to play against a Sonic long enough. And that's what makes them fun to me, because most people have no idea what I'm doing. But you could do the same thing with Isabelle, honestly, like a lot of shenanigans. And I'm starting to get to that point where like I understand what I can do with Isabelle. You know, like different B reverses. You can waveland cancel by setting off the Lloyd rocket. Different balloon recoveries and stuff like that. Yeah, so, and I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff you could do with your characters too. And with Link especially, like different bomb recoveries, different jumps, and different aerials that you need to, you know, use to space across stage. Obviously you want to do short hop nair across stage, but like first hit of fair, or 2 hits of fair, or first hit of back air, stuff like that, because you want to make sure that like if you're doing that with Link, that it's coming out good. But when I'm doing this, I kind of think about like what type of surrounding I want to be in when I go to a bracket. And I manifested that this week when I was playing against JFK. My big thing is I want people to like see us playing and be like, yo, this motherfucker's nice. Oh, he's clean with it. Yo, did you see that? Do you think this matchup is winnable? Well, I think this matchup is winnable. And I just let stuff like that go through my head as I'm moving. Championship Sunday, I'm fighting riddles and I'm destroying them. Something crazy. You just kind of get yourself psyched up to like finally be able to witness your goals. It's really about getting your mind engaged with what you're doing. And the thing about this, and the hard thing is, it's boring. A lot of people have short attention spans. Most of you will probably go to do some type of practice like this and think to pick up your phone and like check out Twitter or something like that. But the biggest thing is the less distracted you are, and the more you focus on like what your dreams are and what your goal is, the more likely you'll accomplish it. And the practice is really not supposed to be designed to be like super fun or engaging. A lot of it is like testing your ability to zone in and really like, I don't know, set the standard for like what true discipline is, because you kind of need discipline. Says it's wacky, you're being so sick of bracket and your brain tricks you into thinking people are watching. After you're set, you turn around and nobody's around. Yeah, I mean, sure. I usually listen out. I don't use my eyes. I use my ears. I just pay attention to my surroundings, like in that sense. Like even though my music is blasted to max volume, I can still hear murmurs of people. And you know, there's the classic, like when the first game is over, you gotta pause the music because then you can hear the conversations then. Or you can feel like a lot of footsteps around you. That's another thing I do to sense if there's a crowd around me. And I don't fully do it for attention. That's just kind of like one of the wants and desires. Because if you got that attention, then it kind of validates you, you know, doing your thing. Alright, we're at a minute. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, but I think that's the whole point, Arachnid. You don't want to lose focus. And if something like what I said is intrusive, then you just have to think about the movement and don't think about the time. Just think about what you're doing. Because I think the problem is some people get so fixated on wanting something that they start losing focus on like the reasoning of being wherever they're at. Or maybe that is your reasoning. Maybe you don't even care about the win. You just like, you want to sauce somebody and you want the whole world to be like, yo, that motherfucker got sauce. God damn. So as you can also tell too, I'm rarely hitting the opponent. The reason why I'm not really hitting DK other than just like focusing on movement is this whole section is like me thinking of a platformer. There's platforms on this stage, and in platforming games there's like tech that you can do or cool movement, and doing the cool movement gets you around obstacles or makes you feel badass or whatever, and that's kind of what you're keeping in mind. Can never forget that this is not a fighter, this is a platform fighter. So sometimes the best way to win in a platform fighter is to play a platformer. I am Sonic the Hedgehog, this is Sonic 2, this is the water level, this is no longer Smash. And just like that, with that weird ass thought, time's up. if you're sauce and you want people to see. The third thing that I do is I get experimental, or you just like go for bread and butter stuff. Like that's usually pretty bread and butter for Sonic. If you do an up throw near a platform, it's easy to get the second up air. And then you can just kind of mix it up based off of DI or placement. I recommend doing these like 5 each or whatever. And make sure that it's like a consecutive thing, because really the up airs are the most important part. As you can see, I can like branch off and do whatever. And just see how much damage you can do, keep the target going. But it's also about like finding the craziest combos. I had a goal going into bracket on Thursday that I wanted to land this specific combo on someone. And I'm going to show you what it is. But I need FD or like a specific platform. I didn't do it on FD. I think I did it on Hollow Bastion, which is even crazier. But I'll show you. This is usually more of my experimental and where like the thinking process side kicks in. Because like the thinking process side kind of wants to like jump into the mix of whatever you do. It's got to be like elaborate. It's got to be like, it's got to make sense. It's got to be logical. Blah, blah, blah. Who did I land it on? I landed it on Velvacet, and then I did a practice session with Xandrite, and I landed it on him. So let's see. Nah, that's not it. That's it, but it didn't kill. It killed Xandrite, and it killed Velvacet. It's weird. Oh, DK is heavy as shit. I forgot. But basically, I just did that, and it killed. It killed off the top. The spin dash killed them off the top because they were at a higher percent. Like at this percent, I'm pretty sure it'll kill DK. Oh, see, yeah, if it's too high, it doesn't do it. Maybe 85. Wow, DK, please. DK, please, I have an audience. Oh, see, that's weird, because then DK just doesn't... I usually do it to Rob. But that spin dash kills off the top. So maybe it's 40%. And it's just that I'm not hitting with the right part of spin dash. But I'll sit here and I'll think of weird shit. Like, how do you get someone to land on your spring? And in this case, what I ended up doing for them is this. Yeah, see, I need a higher percent for DK. He's so fat. I'm not a fat shamer, but god damn. Alright. Yeah, and then it's like awkward. You'd think this character would be easy as shit to hit. I should have just did it to Corrin, because that's Corrin or Bowser. You'd think like this is like a Bowser. Hello? And I just did that, and it worked. It killed people just because they're not expecting you to just sit there and keep spinning. But I ask myself a lot more like questions about, I don't know, the mental of someone. And I think about like what type of murderous thing can I get away with? And once I figure out what murderous thing I can get away with, I start practicing like the basic stuff and the murderous thing religiously. Because the more you practice the murderous thing religiously, the more likely it is to happen. Even if it sounds dumb. Because like that, no one should be getting hit by that shit. No one, ever. Yeah, exactly. It's wonky. That's the perfect word to explain it. But then I got like obsessed with like catching people in spring. And this doesn't seem like it should work, but it's just about lining up what seems stupid with what could be practical. Because the biggest thing about this game that you have to realize is because not a lot of stuff is true, it's a lot more like chess than it is anything else. It's a mind game. Everything's a mind game. It's a continual amount of strings. It's not like a whole bunch of true combos like people make it out to be. It's like, I think that's what people wanted from Smash, but I mean, the fact that it's a platform fighter, it's gotta be a little different. So the fact that I can do some goofy ass shit like this helps. But I'll sit here and practice this for like 20-30 minutes. I'm not gonna do that on the stream, but what the fuck. DK. But I'll practice that for like 20 to 30 minutes and try to get some type of strong repetition of just like crazy shit. You gotta let your mind think about like what is possible, and that's where like stuff like Nair back air start kicking in. I mean, if it's not thinking about what is possible, it's thinking about what you saw on the internet. I think one thing that I like that Bang said is that he likes having the nerds do all the tech work for him so he can use his natural neutral and like actually put it into practice. But the first thing you gotta do is practice it. And then, you know, and hell, you could go to the internet. You can go to Discord, you can go anywhere. But it's about like getting combos down and getting some situational awareness. Yeah, I just realized that like when I was playing you, for whatever reason, if you didn't feel comfortable, you just kept doing neutral get up, and you never changed the time that you did it. And once I realized someone's like kind of not throwing in the towel, but they're scared, they're kind of out of options, then I go for neutral air back air. It's and it's also character reliant. Like if you don't have a sword, I'm doing neutral air back air all day. Because neutral air back air with a character with a sword, a lot of swordy characters like to jump and they like to swing, and my neutral air is not going to stop them from swinging unless like for whatever reason the person jumps really slow and then swings. But it's a sword. The motherfuckers they're getting unleashed, they're getting unhinged. But that's just like the basis of like the beginning of the practice regimen. The last thing that I will show you is I do practice spacing. I don't do it so much with Sonic as like Isabelle, but the way I practice spacing in this game, because they don't really give you much of anything, is you just put the bot on walk, and when you put the bot on walk, you just want to try to hit the utmost space on your moves, like the ones that are the most imperative to space, up to 10 times in a row. And if it's an aerial, you want to put them on jump, and you just want to try to hit them at the apex of their jump. And you have to be honest with yourself. If you miss it, then you got to start over. If you hit it, good for you. See, I fucked up. If you hit it, good for you. But if you can do it 10 times in a row, you start locking it in. Yeah, but I mean, your brain went like that, but it was overwhelming. You know what I mean? You're trying to do your Zelda stuff. I played the game. I played in the zones that I felt comfortable playing in, just to kind of see what you would do. And then once I realized, like, anytime I get you in the corner, you lock up. I mean, that's where I want you. I want you in the corner. And you're locking up in my favorite spot. So I'm going to go fucking nuts. And I'm going to go nuts with all the intuitive and intellectual stuff put together. My biggest thing is, like, when I'm... Alright, let me turn this guy off. Dude, what are you doing? Let's see. Neutral. Oh, you can do the specials. That's cool. I put him on control. I'm stupid. So if I get someone on the ledge, Arachnid, the biggest thing I like to do, because you know I've already mapped it out. They're on the ledge, right? They're on the ledge, right? They're hanging on for dear life. Depending on the character, is kind of like what my natural interaction is. I typically stand like somewhere between roll distance and neutral get up, because if I don't know the player or if I don't know what the character is going to do, it's just about observing what they like to do. I'm not really trying to hit you. I'm not really trying to hit you. I'm just trying to kind of get an idea of like where you like to go. Most people go for neutral get up, or they'll, you know, depending on the character, they'll do some drop down shit and try to attack you. It's really rare that like people when they first get hit think to jump. But if they think to jump, I also like to pay attention to like what type of jumps they do. And if they do, it's just about backing up to center stage and just letting them do their aerial gymnastics. You don't have to hit them. You don't have to interrupt them. I did make a matchup chart though, based off of like what I assume a character is going to do, because you know there seems to be like a conglomerate of people. Like when they play certain characters, they do certain things. Like most DKs are going to rather neutral get up, or they're going to try to attack you in some way, shape, or form. So that, you know, a lot of DKs do get up attack because of the big swing of the arm, or a lot of characters will jump and do side B. That's another thing. So if you realize like the character is going to swing, then you just have to think about like what hitbox do you have that can stop that from happening, or should you just shield it? Which usually that's the answer. You should probably just block it, because if they're going to constantly like drop off the ledge and swing, if you have a fast out of shield option, they probably don't have a jump. And then if you don't have a fast out of shield option, they're landing right in front of you with lag, because you have to drop from the ledge, swing, and you're not high enough to get an auto cancel window, so you're gonna have lag unless it's a bullshit character, because I feel like Joker can probably pull some dumb shit off, maybe with like an up air, but most Jokers don't think to do up air. Anyways, if they like to do that, then standing at roll distance is fine. If it's a character that likes to do neutral get up because all their stuff sucks, I just kind of stand at the ledge and shield, because they're probably gonna do the bread and butter. Would you look at that? DK still dying. And if it's a character that likes to run away, like if you're playing against a Diddy Kong, most Diddy Kongs will kind of do what Sonic does, jump and then shoot across the stage. So it's really rare that like a Diddy Kong doesn't do that. And if they like to do something like that, I like to back up. Not all the way center stage, just enough that they feel the need to rather attack me or do a little bit of extra work to get away from me. And the reason why I like them doing a little bit of extra work to get away from me is because I don't have to press anything. They just kind of show their hand, and then you have to use your reflexes to catch up to it. But yeah, big thing is like, I do all the combo stuff. I know where I want people to stay, and that's the next thing that I practice. So you got your spacing, you got your movement, you got your combos, and that's just you brushing up on like really, really, really basic fundamentals. The second part is what my practice regiment thing was for today. Because again, you don't have anybody, right? You're lonely, woe is me, woe is me. You gotta figure out how you're gonna practice this game. And I do this in basically every video game. There's always a way to practice something. There's always a way to get something down. And because the game is made off of the fundamental mindset of what the creator wanted, and there's a fundamental mindset of what the competitor wants, there's got to be a middle ground. And that's what I'm always aiming for. What is the middle ground? So, I'm going to pick Sonic. I'm going to fight a level 9 bot. But the goal when you're fighting a level 9 bot is to not lose a stock. If you lose a stock, you have to stop. Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that, Arachnid? It's fucking Zelda. One big thing that you're going to learn about level 9s in this game is that a lot of level 9s are programmed to read inputs ahead of time. So pressing a whole lot of buttons is usually your worst idea. And people who like to mash the controller typically have a hard time with this, unless their character 1 is Pyramithra because you have fast disjoints, or 2 has like some type of projectile, because bots don't really appropriate well with projectiles. They just kind of keep getting hit by them. But there's got to be something that you're aiming to do when you're doing those projectiles or when you're fighting this bot. I see this as like a deficit, and I see it as like a threat, because like if I was playing in bracket, playing against Bang, and he's got 2 stocks on me, and he's got 3 stocks, I got 1 stock. I gotta find a way to bring this back. The best way to bring something like this back is to get the opponent to 60 and then start pushing them to the ledge. You start pushing them to the ledge, they start running out of resources, and they have to start showing their hand a lot more. Nice, she got out. You see she's at 118. Then you have to kind of decide, like, at what time does your character start going for the kill? 60 is actually the best time to go for a kill with any character, because like a forward smash near the ledge after you've already put them there, it's probably going to kill them. Or something off the stage. You know, some characters can kill sooner than 60, but thinking sub 60. And I got that from playing against Shu Zero Suit Samus like a lot in Smash 4. That character likes to kill sub 60, and if she can't kill sub 60, then she's got to work. She's got to work hard. So if there's a way to like stop from working so hard, then do that. But only do it once. Don't fucking go, nuts with it. Because the more you try to like force something on the ledge to kill, the more likely you're going to get reversed. Because then that means that person's going to keep going around you. And it's inconsistency that like gets you the loss. But if you're like hitting someone with nitpicky stuff and you're trying to find a way to track somebody, you start to develop a consistent flow. And if you have a consistent flow, it's hard to lose because you have something that works. So in this case, if the bot gets to 150 and they're near the ledge, I can just side tilt and it's always going to kill. That's my consistency. If I don't get big move, I can go for a bunch of small moves, and eventually it just wears the person down. If they can't get past me, they can't play. And if they can't play, then they can't win. So basically, if I'm going in the bracket, I'm trying to treat you like you're a bot at all times. And a lot of people think that they're not being treated as a bot, but let me tell you, that's some bot-like matches in bracket. Look at that. How many people do you know that you've ever played in bracket tries to land like that, like they drift into you like this? Or if you jump, then they flinch. That's bot-like behavior, but people do that all the time. And so if you're initiating some type of bot-like sequence out of somebody, then it becomes really, really easy to keep consistent. But there's got to be some type of goal, and that's the point. Now I'm making this look easy, but if you try this on your own, see, you die to dumb shit like that. But you have to keep doing it until you get 3 in a row.
No contest.
And you have to kind of come up with a plan, because if you don't have a plan, if you're going into a match, then you're planning to fail. You fail to plan, you plan to fail. So in this case, the goal is to keep getting the bot to 60% and then putting the bot on the ledge. The higher percent you get, the more you got to get creative about how you're going to get the kill. And in that case, you have to pay attention to like what the bot's doing to recover. Because if the bot's using certain resources at certain times, you can learn to just intercept them off stage and get the early kill that way. Like this bot seems to like, you know, well, this bot jumped high the first time, but we don't know if that's going to happen every time. Yeah, that time she air dodged. But she doesn't have a jump. And it is a bot, so it's like, if you can find a way to make sure you punish the bot's recovery, you're probably going to kill him. As much as you want to be like, but gay, regular people don't fail like that. I absolutely disagree. I've seen way too many people fumble the bag on like a simple recovery. And that's me included. I don't know how many times I've lost a bracket match because of an SD. So to assume that like the person's just going to like perform perfectly if you hit them into a bad spot is stupid. You kind of have to assume the worst of some people. And sometimes that's where your confidence comes from. What's up, stupid? Oh, you're good. Some days this practice can be easy, some days it can be hard, but I think the beauty of it is if you have a plan and you're not following your plan, then you'll realize it. Because once you figure out like what your strategy is against most of these bots, so long as you're following your strategy, you should be alright. The bots don't really do anything too crazy or unorthodox, and if they are, you have to rely on the fundamentals to get around the crazy. Because in my head, they're kind of, oh shit, they're kind of generating luck. Get away from me. Just like in bracket, if something doesn't kill or someone falls out of something, it's like a form of luck. And you shouldn't be upset that the luck happens. You kind of have to find a way to deal with it, because just like anything else, anything can happen in a competition. Nothing is ever like just completely black and white. There's always some type of gray. But like you shouldn't falter or fall because something didn't go the way that you thought it should. And playing against level 9 bots, you start to feel that way a lot. Like you saw how I died to Zelda at 60% to an up air. And that bot didn't go for that up air once. And then just out of nowhere it worked. Yeah, so you always got to kind of play to the plan and understand that like anything can happen. And that's the beauty of playing these level 9 bots. Yeah, fuck you. I'm getting a little too greedy. I'm at 139%. What is a hedgehog to do? I gotta get her to the ledge. If I get her to the ledge, she's closer to the blast zone. And if she keeps making mistakes near the blast zone, oh my god. Then she could die. Or I can die. But you see, I got too hasty and I went for a forward smash knowing that she can disappear. But yeah, I do this, I get past this, and I move on to the next thing. But I'm not going to move on to the next thing for this stream. I'm just kind of going over this basic, and then I'm rewinding and telling it everything that I said in the most basic form. Because like I said, if you can't simplify it, then you probably don't understand it. Trying this shit one more time. Alright, DK. Kind of a tricky bot, low-key. Like, you see how he's just... What was that? What the fuck was he doing up there? This dude was active. Nice try. Nice try. What's up, tough guy? Ooh. Nice try, tough guy. He used both his jumps. That's why I went for that downer on the ledge, because if it hits, he dies. And he's past 60, so more than, or he's at 60 or a little bit, you know, past that. So more than likely, it's gonna land. It's gonna work. It's gonna kill. And if this was a set and I was behind 3-1, you know, I can't go for the innocent all the time. I'm way behind. I gotta gamble sometimes. And that wasn't much of a gamble, just because, you know, he burned his recovery. I should have went for the downer again the second time. What's that? Nope. Just gotta recover high. Ooh. Oh, he ding-donged me. I'm in trouble. CPU DK knows what's up. Yeah, see? Damn. Oh, yo, another CPU to do it? Alright, nah, I'm playing too much on the ledge. Yeah, get out of there. Approach. Do it. You'll push me? Oh, pushed him. Oh my god. The one time you did neutral get up. That's an angry monkey. I don't get punched here though. Well, I got punched, but you know what I mean. The real punch. Oh my god, I get up tilted. Alright, we're trying this one more time. And then I'm just going to go back into what I was talking about. Some days it's easy, some days it's not. But I think the biggest thing is I'm trying too hard to get the kill. And I need to focus more on just playing the game. The moment you start trying too hard to get the kill is the moment things go very, very south, very, very fast.
3, 2,
It's me llamo Roberto Roboto. Everyone's favorite character. Should have been DLC, just saying. Ooh, if I drifted it a little bit more. Only 15% taken, keep that in mind. You don't want to get to 60. 60 is where you start drifting in weird directions. And I feel like anytime you play against a level 9 bot, once it passes 30, it starts going for the crazy shit. But before 30, it's usually kind of tame. Oh, we're at 38. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in trouble. What are you doing? Robert. I should have went for it anyway. Ooh, yeah, right. Yo, this Rob is not trying to get hit. I'm at 60, so I gotta play it a little slower. Just nitpick, try to get the clean damage. think striking this bot on the platform is a bad idea. Now we go high. I don't have to fight you. Come to me. You approach? I have no idea how that gyro didn't hit me twice, and then the third time it definitely did. I'm at 99%, so I gotta really pay attention to how I play near the ledge. Get as many miles as I can off of this robot, and then really pay attention to resources. Yeah, you don't have a jump. That was bad. Didn't do that. Damn, the bot knew. Ah, shit. It's okay. I'm not gonna go off stage. Not against this bot. Going off stage against Rob is generally a bad idea. No, my God. DLC did not exist in Brawl. They didn't start doing DLC until Smash 4. God damn it.
No.
I think it's more, yo, it must be one of them off days. Bro, are you kidding me? Every time I fail at something, I always like end up getting a bunch of people show up and then they just disappear like right as I fail, as if they can't handle watching the disappointment. It's weird when you can't pull off your own whatever. But let me digress. Basically, I started doing this because you can't like say I'm gonna just beat as many level 9 bots as possible, because if that's the case, you're not going to get any better. Eventually you realize the bots don't hold that much friction anyways, and it's really easy to beat the bots. But if there's always some type of like thing to watch out for, in this case it's losing one stock, then you kind of hold a little bit more of a respect. And it's frustrating at first just because the bots will find the craziest ways to kill you. Not the practical, like they'll have a kill throw situation, not use the kill throw at all. And then they'll do some crazy ass combo or like a tech like that and turn it around and turn it into a kill. So it's really about expecting the unexpected half the time. And that's why I said like it's almost like generating your own luck. Get out of here. But you really do kind of have to understand that tracking and knowing where the bot is and what it's going to do, how to punish stuff, all this stuff is going to serve you justice. And then having your ideal game plan. Like if you're going to punish jumps, how do you punish a jump typically? And that, I mean, like that takes kind of discovery and understanding and, you know, playing the game. Especially making sure you don't make excuses for stuff. Like, I don't know how many people I've seen play this game and go for, like, the same ledge trap that doesn't work ever. And, you know, it's got, like, a 10% success rate. And just making an excuse of, like, oh, I'm just off today. Like, bro, you're off every day. But if you could find, like, a ledge trap that's a little more successful, then that'd probably make more sense than trying to do the one that doesn't work. Especially if it's, like, it worked in 2019-ass ledge trap. Which I see a lot of people do, especially, like, with this character. Yeah, right. Oh shit. Don't go towards him. It's crazy. Yeah, right. 60. Ledge. Woo! 75. Oh, he killed himself. But yeah, I started doing that, and it helped me kind of figure out little basic stuff about the characters. Obviously, you can't learn a full matchup off of playing a bot. Because, like, playing a ZSS bot versus playing Shu, two completely different things. However, a ZSS bot does use down B, and if you've never punished a down B off of Shu, learning kind of how the down B works off of playing a bot helps, because if you can punish the bot, you can punish Shu. Shu's not doing a million different things. She's doing a couple different tweaks to what the bot is doing. So keeping that in mind helps. The basic introduction is this though. You go, you play the game, you fall in love with it. You gotta have the passion for it. You know, you play for 3 months or whatever. You go to your fair share of brackets, right? And once you go to the brackets, you can kind of see where you fall within the bracket compodium. Then you have to make a goal. If there's no story or no goal to achieve, it's damn near impossible to improve at anything. It doesn't have to even be Smash. It could be a job, it can be getting girls, it can be anything. If you don't have a goal, then there's no absolute way to improve, because there's no aim. You're just wandering into the wilderness, and you've already done that, but you can't wander forever. Okay, so you wander into the wilderness, you find out what you need. In my case, I gotta be like Shu and Bang. How do I get there? And my first thing is consistency, because if I can't constantly make it to them in bracket, I'm not on their echelon. And to try to force them to be on my echelon by doing money matches or inviting them to my Smash Fest, even though I'm dog shit, is not the way to go. So to play against the people who are kind of on my level, rather a little better, a little worse, is a good idea if I'm just playing the game. But if I'm trying to practice, I need to find out what the fundamentals of the game are. The most important thing about the game, and any game, is the fundamentals. It's not the hype shit, it's not the glitches necessarily, it's the fundamentals. If the glitches don't help with the fundamental understanding of the game, then it's not good. And the fundamental aspect of this game is to stay on the stage longer than the other person. There's a million things that you have to add into it, but if you start there, that's basic. It's super basic. And if you start with movement, that's also basic. That's super basic.
3, 2,
You get your movement down, and then once you get the movement down, especially like challenging stuff, the harder the movement, the more you want to try to go for consistency. You want to try to do it like 5 times consecutively. Not do it 5 times in general, but like consecutively. And then the better you get at it, the more you raise that number, because eventually you'll just be doing tech like it's nothing. Like some of the stuff I'm doing with Sonic, I was definitely fucking cheeks at. Okay, Terry's moving. Yo, Terry is moving. What the fuck is this bot? Alright. Good stuff. What the This bot is crazy. I like this guy. Now see, I should have waited for his resources. Yeah, nah, fuck that. I'm not okay. Bro, that backer didn't. I'm dead. Alright, Terry bot is sick. I don't think I've really played this bot too many times. Which is crazy. I play Kazuya bot often. I don't play Terry bot that often. I don't remember this shit. Oh, what the fuck? I don't remember this shit at all. This bot kind of slaps. Yeah, let's be getting desperate. You're dead. Can I pull this off? Maybe. Yeah, fuck you. Roll in. Oh, you didn't roll. Yo, this bot likes to jump. Alright. You don't have a jump. Oh my god, I missed. Jump. Alright, I like that better. This bot's got the mixes. Y'all see this shit? This guy's alright with me. Alright, nice. That was supposed to be a spring back air. Spring didn't come out. Yeah, I don't know why he drifted into me. I'm okay with that. Okay, you can't kill off that throw. But man, was that terrifying. Jump. Oh my god. Jump. He is a jump. Damn it. Stupid rising tackle. Fuck. Oh, I got so lucky. Holy shit. Alright, but at the same time, that you could tell, like, I started calming down and paying attention to consistency. And again, if you miss a lot of what happens when you're playing the bots at first is you'll miss, like I did earlier with that grab on the platform. And some people will sit still like an idiot, or they just get locked in shield a lot. But the more confident you get in movement, the more you realize sometimes to correct an action, you just gotta press another action. This character is not a fun time, no matter what's going on. I'm starting to understand Steve more, and I kind of wish that more players started off by like trying to adjust and adapt to Steve instead of just like blatantly calling him the best and making it seem like this is the worst era they've ever been in. I don't blame them. This character is kind of dumb. It's like Luigi on steroids, honestly, because I mean, this character wants a lot of what Luigi wants, and that's to ruin your fucking day. And it's mainly because he's just got like unorthodox ways to deal with like being hit, and unorthodox ways to kill, and so much information that you have to be aware of. Like the biggest one, oh shit, the biggest one is the minecart and how it works. Like I didn't realize that the minecart basically has 3 different versions. There's the gold, or the regular, the gold, and then the, I guess 4. The redstone, and then the redstone and the gold, which is probably the most potent because it goes fast and it hits hard. Yeah, this guy's a problem. But learning helps. And like I said, playing against the bots, sometimes that kind of helps you understand like what's going on. If you don't understand what's going on, sometimes it just helps to play the character. Because like a lot of people don't do that. They don't have like the problem character and they can't stand it, and then try to play the character to kind of see it from the player's perspective. So one thing you'll realize about the player's perspective is they'll talk mad shit about their character, like the player's going through some type of personal struggle having to main this character. You know, like, woe is me. Damn, I saw that coming. Woe is me, I main Steve. I can't achieve nothing in life because Steve is holding me back from winning in bracket. No, it's not my fault. It's the character's fault. But, I mean, sometimes you have to take what they're saying as truth. There's got to be some reason for why they're complaining, and you just kind of have to listen to their woes. Helps a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this stupid part of practice. Basically wrap up the stream. There's more to my practice regimen. This is not just it. But I've broken it down to my own type of science. Like, if I do small sections of my practice regiment each day, then I don't get overwhelmed with trying to do the entire thing. And I say overwhelmed just because, you know, you got the full-time job, you got the second job with coaching, and then you got the family, the relationship, all that type of stuff. But the beauty of like spending this time is I'm playing Smash, but I'm not playing like a ridiculous amount. Obviously, you still have to play against people while doing or after doing the practice regiments, because there's no way you become like really good at something from just facing bots and that's it. But this sharpens your fundamentals, and it makes it so like when you play people, you have a plan in mind. And if you do enough of the Unga Bunga caveman shit, you start thinking of things you can like hit people with, or sections where you notice you get hit a lot, and then you just start making goals when you play against people in friendlies. You don't want to make too many goals in bracket, just because at the end of the day you kind of want to win. But if you're not really interested in winning and you're just trying to sharpen something up, then yeah, you could do it in bracket too. Especially like, I don't know, if your bracket is, oh shit, Alright, Wii Fit's kind of fucking me up. That's okay. There's deep breathing, nerd. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my god. Yeah, fuck that. Saw that down there. Nice. Alright, 119%. Oh, what the f. Nice. Keep air dodging. Thank you. Keep air dodging. You're in trouble. Yeah, I keep going out. You're dead. But, yeah, I do this part of my regiment first, and then I have other parts, but this is kind of where I start making some of the bases of my gameplay. I don't think this is the most effective of my regiment. I think this is somewhere in the middle. It adds pressure, and honestly, when it comes to bracket, there's some moments where I think I'm just playing against a bot, and I don't even think about the pressure. I go into Zen mode, I think about what I'd do if I was at home, trying not to have to fight so many bots in a row, and I just play. So sometimes you gotta simulate your own danger. But, I mean, again, I don't know, that's the beauty of, like, having a regiment or having something that you practice. You know what's not beautiful? Fighting against a Wario. Just because, like, this guy could end this shit whenever he feels like it once he gets this waff. And I'm not gonna rush against him as if, like, that's what I would do against Wario, because Wario's main defect against Sonic is, although he has waff, I can still just kind of keep him away from me, and there's not much he can do. But this character versus Sonic is a rough time. I didn't know that in the beginning of Ultimate. I was just kind of caught up on, like, playing Mr. Ping and getting used to just getting slapped by that guy. But this character's not too effective against Sonic at all. It took for me to kind of, like, watch it in bracket and kind of realize, like, what his weaknesses are. And stubby range would be one of those. Wario's a character though where you definitely gotta practice movement. You definitely gotta practice, like, which strings do what, and knowing, like, what moves your angles send at. Ooh. Got my forward smash out, so no more forward smash. Ah, fuck, I'm stop here. This is such a weird moment of, like, watching him interact with that bike and not doing anything about it. I just don't want to get lost in the sauce, man. I should have forward smashed that. Well, you're in trouble now. Oh, shit. Oh, he's got waft too. Oh my! I don't have to worry about waft. It's stupid nair. All right, I'll give it one more shot because I think giving people a basic guide is all that really needs to happen. But fuck that. This guy's an asshole. I almost want to fight Wario again. I got problems. I got problems with this guy. Oh shit. This one's not hard, but it's one of those characters, man. You just never know when Lil Mac's gonna turn up. Oh shit. And I mean, and that's just like in general. You can fight a really good Little Mac and they just kind of go nuts. Couple moves in and a KO punch later and you're sad. That's death, isn't it? Yo, if he would have made that with some crazy ass peanut recovery, I would have been so sad. Not that I've seen a bot do like a miraculous recovery ever. Like if they're doing something miraculous, it's because you left them on stage. Ooh, I almost hit that. Nice. That was a bad idea. I didn't get punished for it. Nice. Roll. Yeah. Nice. Well, I usually rolls there. Gotta get that KO punch on. Oh shit. Alright, we're good. Yeah, except I had a feeling he was going to do that. You're dead. Woo! Dancing with death a little bit. No, you're not. Oh, he rolled. What the fuck? Oh, I should stop guessing. I should stop guessing. Oh my god. Alright, so I see my problem. I'm gonna switch to Isabelle. Oh man. That was so tragic. Wolf is kind of a simple one. Crazy enough, like I actually, when I first played this game, I played against a Wolf bot for the first time, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking hate fighting this character, aren't I? And yeah, I hate fighting Wolf. Not anymore. Well, I hated fighting Wolf. I'd say like, the more you learn about the character, and the more you learn about the game, especially the game, because Wolf is kind of like a general concept of the game-ass character. So the more you learn about the game, the easier it is to deal with Wolf. Because he's super basic. Oh shit. Imagine if I died off that back there. After talking shit about Wolf. Oh, he's going nuts. Can't be tamed. What the fuck? Oh, relax, dude. It's just a game. I got a stream. Dude, I got a family. Nice things. Woo! Figured. I was gonna fast forward down there, and then I was like, yo, if I get hit by this Wolf Flash and I die, I'm gonna be so upset. Alright, fuck it. We continue this later. But, yeah, I think I'm just playing different. I don't know. Off day. Putting him on the ledge, but I think a lot of anticipation is what the problem is. Like, I'm trying to read a bot, and you don't really read a bot. You kind of can. You can get a feeling for him, but you don't really read a bot. I love how every time I say, oh yeah, I'm done, I do another one. But my family is here. My son's going to invade the stream, so I should probably just end it now. Moral of the story is, again, something like this shouldn't always come easy. Some days it will, some days it won't. The consistency is what makes you great at it. And that's the biggest driving point of like how you become a lot better, is finding something that you want to do and remaining consistent at it. Because it's cool to be like the sporadic player, but that's not how you get into that echelon that you're looking for. You need to constantly get in that echelon, so then you can kind of get used to playing in that echelon, especially if there's a stream. If you don't get there enough, you can't really see what you're doing right or wrong, because you're always playing some lower level people, or sometimes you're up there, sometimes you're not up there. So creating a consistency is huge. And playing against these level 9 bots and getting a consecutive amount of wins in a row is huge, because then you kind of get used to doing your strategy. It's not the end all be all, but it does help you understand how to deal with pressure and how to wait for something to happen, because you can't just press a lot of buttons. All right. What's up, kid? Hey, thanks. Ezekiel, can you do me a favor? Can you say bye? Alright, well, Ezekiel said bye. Looks like it's time to end the stream. I'm going to shut this down now. Maybe do something more practice related in the future. These streams are going to be a little on the slower side. Yeah, I know. These streams are going to be a little on the slower side, but it is what it is. Thanks for the people that showed up. We'll see you around.